Hi, everyone. Welcome to SBR Sports Picks. We are the odds couple. His name is Mike Brenner. He is ready. Believe it. Trust it. For the second half of the NBA season. My name is Peter Loshak. This is the NBA Odds Couple Show for Thursday, February 23rd. Mike Brenner, let's throw up the record. Mike Brenner, congratulations. You had your ups, you had your downs, you had some big ups, some big downs, some treading waters. But overall, in the first half of the NBA season, you are up double digits in units, up over 3% ROI, which for people who aren't familiar with the way betting works, that is an excellent overall ROI. It is sustainable, and if you can sustain it, you are an admirable handicapper. No ifs, ands, or buts about it, Mike Brenner.
Well, I think I can pick it up even more, Pete, and I have to. In college right now, I'm in one of those. But you know what? To the haters, the haters are the ones that don't understand. And Jordan Sharp was going to be joining us today. You know, he understands this part because he puts up with a lot what I do. All right, the haters don't understand. Those guys are trying to run a damn sprint, and this is a marathon. Sure. And that is what separates the men from the boys in the business. It's what separates our true teammates and supporters out there on the viewer side as well. Right. So I can take it. I mean, I had 3 of my power picks lose in a row. Oh, well, guess what? Will it happen again? Probably. Exactly. Will I get out of it again? Yeah, probably. So with that being said, move forward. NBA's the strength for me, and I can't wait. I'm fired up, and there's all kinds of stuff going on.
That's right.
And we haven't talked to Jordan in a long time.
And Jordan's going to be joining us later on. And, I mean, the same thing goes for me, too. I'll have my up days, my down days, but what really matters, what really is telling is my shitty record over a long sample size.
I knew something was behind that comment.
Right.
You're heating up in college basketball.
Yes, I am. Absolutely. Well, Mike Brenner, I have hope for a profitable second half. We got 6 games. Let's just get right into it. Then after we get into it, we'll have Jordan Sharp's comments. And
it's real important that we let the viewers know today more than any day, you better be so careful. You better check, literally update yourself as much as you can.
Last-minute trades.
Last-minute trades. Lines are going to go. I mean, it's going to be interesting. And I got a feeling before we're even done with this video being uploaded, there may be one in the works right now. So please pay special attention today. It is trade deadline.
All right. Well, the first thing that caught my eye when I looked at this line, the Knicks were actually a profitable team in the first half, but they're obviously a team in disarray. And the Cavs, up and down, but they closed the first half good ATS run. Obviously an awesome team. The line of 10 struck me as a little bit low.
I think so, too, and I really do. And then when I read an article that LeBron, he cannot wait for today. He's like, this is it, and he feels really, really good about Kyle Korver. He said the last few days they've had some sharp practices, and Korver is in his zone. All right, when Korver starts feeling comfortable, we saw it in Atlanta, it gets dangerous. Here's the thing, New York, Melo might be moved by the end of the day. We don't know. D. Rose, he might be moved by the end of the day. Noah's not playing. All right, that team has Porzingis and not a hell of a whole lot more. All right, Melo can't spell defense if you put it out in front of him. And again, not to knock them, I'm using the strength of this side. I think Cleveland's going to blow this team out. I'm going to go full game easily, and I'm going to take it. I like it because here's another thing. If Melo doesn't get traded, he's not going to bring it tonight. He was bringing it all the last couple weeks because he knew he was on stage and people were looking at him. All right, you're in a team that's absolutely horrid, and they're not going anywhere, and they know it. So if he doesn't get moved by deadline, you're going to see an effort out of him tonight that I don't think is going to be competitive whatsoever.
And in general, the Cavs just beat up on the Knicks in general.
No, they own them. They own that team. If there was ever such a team that owns a team, do your research because I've done it with this. They own this team, and I'm loving it. I'm pulling the trigger, Pistol
Pete.
So
you're taking the first half and full game?
No, just the full game.
Oh, just the full game. Why not the first half?
Because it's just one of them games. It's one of them slow, I just want to see it happen. I'm going with full game.
All right, -10, -108. That's the pinnacle line that we can give.
I like it. Pistol, what's your thoughts on that? Are you going to jump in there?
I'm agreeing with you.
Come on, there's no question about it. If you're going to hesitate.
All right, your record speaks for itself.
Get in there,
I'll tell you on
there.
that one. I'll tell you. This might be a bad sign for you, though, that I'm going on it with.
Not at all. Buddy, you're heating up in college. This is a great sign.
NBA totally different.
You were on a side of mine today that I was on in basketball, and I said, oh, God.
Totally different. College, totally different. All right, now let's talk about Golden State. Golden State and the Clippers both closed out the first half with great ATS runs. And in fact, Golden State over their last 15 games or so was starting to cover those full game spreads really impressively. They also met, the last time they met was a few weeks ago. The game went to 250 in regulation, so very high scoring game. Mike Brenner, what's your take on the first game for Golden State in the second half?
I've had a really good read on the Clippers as of late also. 4 out of the last
Yes,
5 I've
yes,
used them.
yes,
They've cashed
yes,
for me,
yes.
and I feel I've got a good read on them. And when your coach says Blake Griffin's playing the best basketball he's ever played since I've coached him, and Blake Griffin says I feel the best body, in shape that I felt ever since I played basketball, then that tells me a lot. That team's moving forward. They're waiting for Chris Paul. Do they have enough to mess with this team that is absolutely rested, dangerous, and ready? I mean, this team is ready. Hell no. I'm taking the first half and the full game. Pulling that trigger, Pistol.
All right, the
Damn
full
right.
game on Golden State will
Yep.
be 12.5 minus
God, they're gonna win it by,
105.
and they're gonna wear them out in the end.
Yeah, the first half will be -7, minus 106.
And Pete, I know the last time they played, it went. I think the over went to like 252
yeah, it
or
went
something.
way over, and Golden
And
State won by 20.
And they won by 20, and it went into overtime, though. All right?
No.
You said something about
No,
overtime
it was
in the radio
regulation.
show today.
Yeah, it was in
Oh,
regulation.
it was regulation,
Yeah.
and they blew their doors out.
Yeah, they
blew
won by
their
20.
doors
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
Right now, again, today is everything for these guys. They're itching to get back on the court. They've had these off days. You got a lot of injuries that are healed, but most important is who's keeping the momentum and the motion and the edge coming out of the gate. There's just too much veteran leadership there for them not to come out and then be red hot. All right, I'm telling you, this team is focused. That's why I took them minus 250. Right?
All right, and I'll take the over. So I'll take
He's
the first
in
half
there.
and the full game over.
What are
119
those
and 230.
numbers?
230, but I mean, the last game went to 250. Obviously,
Clippers can shoot,
the
and
Clippers can get
Redick's
into
healthy. Hey,
230s, yeah.
they say J.J. Redick, by the way, got really, really healthy during this break. So it could be a shootout, Pistol Pete. It could be look like a track meet.
Next game, let's talk about Houston at New Orleans. Of course, DeMarcus Cousins and Anthony Davis on the court together.
Wow.
A lot of talent there, but chemistry that remains to be seen. Houston's a 3.5-point road favorite, and I'm thinking that Houston might be a sneaky good play here. Maybe also the over might be a great play. What do you think about this game, Mike Brenner?
Well, it's one I have to stay off of, and I'm not kidding you. I didn't know we were doing a video with Jordan today until just like a couple hours ago. Well, actually, last night I found out. But when I was observing this game and digging in after the trade, because I had never heard or knew Boogie Cousins, his nickname Boogie, until we were doing videos with Jordan last year. So he's had a good read on this guy when he was in Sacramento. So I'm really looking forward to having Jordan on to see what he thinks of the chemistry. And if I'm correct, they think they played on the same court together in Kentucky. I don't know. That may not be true. But what I do know is that's two towers that are huge, they're big, and now they both are reinvigorated. Anthony Davis made the statement, I am excited to play basketball again. He said, I thought this year was lost. I thought it was gone. All right. And that not only do they think they can make a playoff push, which, hell, miracles happen, the fact is he's healthy and Cousins is healthy. You're going to see other guys stepping up because they're going to be wide open. Drew Holiday's going to have an absolute field day the second half of the season. This is a game I got to stay off of, though, Pete, but I absolutely am dying to hear what Jordan's got to say about that.
I'm going to take the first half and full game over. Hopefully, one or both of those will
Get in
cash
there.
as well.
Pulling that trigger.
Now let's talk about Sacramento. First game without DeMarcus Cousins, a 7-point home dog against Denver, who was banged up in the first half. Now they're getting healthier. This is a tricky one. Denver also, just in case anyone isn't aware, was a massive overtrender in the first half. Just a dead overtrender. All first half on the home, at home, on the road, everything. What's your take on Sacramento here?
Well, Pete, I loved what you said in the live show we did because this is a tricky one, and the reason is I kind of compare it to when coaches get fired and the team feels free again. All right, Boogie Cousins. One thing I do know, a lot of players had trouble playing with him, and a lot of them just didn't talk about it because they couldn't. They couldn't open their mouth about that. He was the franchise guy. I think a lot of freedom's going to come from them players, but Denver, all right, is all and they're all playing Moundier. They're all what I'm hearing. Everybody's in. Gallinari's back. But here's what's exciting. All right, they now have added Plumlee. I think it's Plumlee or one of those somebody from the from that team they got off of Portland. They got rid of Nurkic, however you pronounce it. They're filling that gap, no problem. Here's what I like because I do like your thought on what you said in the show. So I'm going to take Denver in the first half. I think they're more organized together. All right, with only losing one player. As opposed to Sacramento, even though it's one player, he's worth 3 players. All right, I think they will adapt quicker, and I think the first half's going to be the edge.
So Denver you want to go with Denver, -4, -104.
On the first half, Pete. Full game, I like what you're saying. I think they're
yes.
really going to start feeling free after they're going to have their first halftime without that guy probably in there causing hell in the locker room because I could see him being very boisterous in a locker room. So, yeah, I'm pulling that trigger, baby. Denver -4, first half.
All right, and this one I will also take first half over
Hell,
and the
why
full
not?
game over.
You're just
and
crazy.
I will also,
literally. What's going on? You had 30 picks
crazy.
yesterday in
I'm going
college.
crazy.
You've already been there.
I'm going crazy.
You had 30 picks with college yesterday. You had probably another 20 today, and now you're just. I love it. I love it.
Well, I did some ayahuasca on Monday, and ever since then, I've been losing my mind. No,
I don't even know what the hell that is.
Never done ayahuasca.
It might be a MGTOW
All right,
thing.
and I'm going to put my money where my mouth is, and I will take Sacramento full game plus 7 minus 102.
We can both cash that ticket.
Yeah, we could.
Really can.
All right, and then we have 2 other games: Portland and Orlando, Charlotte and Detroit. That's an interesting one. Charlotte Drive. I was thinking about the over on that one, and Portland and Orlando. That's a weird one. Portland was terrible ATS in the first half, and now they're a road favorite against Orlando. I'm not quite seeing why that would be. Do you have anything to say about either of those games?
Yeah, I do. I have one. I'm going to go with this, and it's you know what? It might be my big balls pick, but I'm going to take the full game with Portland minus 2.5 if it's still there.
Yeah.
Here's why I like it. All right. Again, Orlando. They lost Ibaka, which wasn't a big thing. Got Terrence Ross coming in, who is a shooter. Okay, I don't know if he's even playing, if he's cleared to play. Even if he is, it takes time. Even if you practice, and I'm sure he's practiced his ass off last 3 days with these guys, but it still takes time to gel. Portland is tired. They were tired going into that break. If any team in the NBA needed this break at All-Star, it was them. And they'll probably tell you that. I think that Lillard and McCollum will come out focused, and I think Terry Stotts is going to be able to dip into a little bit of that magic this team had last year, because I think they all had to do some soul searching at break, because let's get real. This is one of the most underachieving, disappointing teams in the NBA thus far. I like it. I think they come out energized, and I think they go into Orlando, which is still trying to put some stuff together.
All right, so what do you taking? You're taking
full game, baby. Minus
game,
2.5.
2.5, and that'll be minus 109.
You know what? Hell with it. No, I'm going to pull Pistol Pete. Hell with it. Give me the first half as well.
And the full game. Okay, so minus 2.5, minus 109, and the first half will be minus 1, minus 112.
Well, I like it, Pete. Any thoughts on that breakdown?
Yeah, I mean, I think you're probably right, because it doesn't quite make sense to me why Portland would be a road favorite here, so you're probably right. And Orlando was horrific ATS at home in the first half, which is not necessarily predictive of what to expect.
You know, Serge Ibaka said that there's just not anything there that signifies a championship type of caliber team. And he said from the top of the organization through, and I know Bobka's gotten out a hell of a lot to say. He's been on 3 teams in a year and a half, but he said that was an organization that he did not understand.
All right, I think you might be right here, Mike Brenner. I'll tell you.
He's in there. Jump in there, baby. Hell, Jordan's liable to
and
jump in
I'm also
with us.
going to throw on the first half and full game over in Charlotte and Detroit. So I'm on a lot of picks. I mean, hopefully I'll make some units. All right, yeah, I'm on at least 2 things, maybe 4 or 5. All right, and 3 of them are natural. 3 of them just come internally that my body creates.
And the rest will just leave that to the imagination.
Yeah. All right, so let's go to Jordan Sharp, Mr. Research. This guy always, win or lose, does his research, breaks things down in a very clear and concise way. Jordan Sharp,
hold on real quick, because we'd be remiss to say, you know what, his young daughter that he had last year, we were doing our shows, is about to turn 1. So happy early birthday to his little sweetheart.
Okay, yes, happy birthday, Jordan Sharp. Congratulations on your wonderful family life. Jordan Sharp, you've heard us break down all 6 games tonight. What do you have? Any? You agree, disagree with anything?
He might not even be there.
You want to warn us off anything?
Yeah, you guys talked my ear off on that one. No, hey, it's been too long, fellas. I appreciate you having me on. It has been a crazy All-Star break here. We've seen some crazy things, and the craziness might not be over here with the trade deadline coming up in a few hours too. So, I like some of the picks you guys got going here. I agree with you on Portland. I think that the Magic are one of those teams that are just trying to lose right now. You know, they've packed it in. They're ready to go. I don't think the All-Star break is going to help them at all. And one of the plays that I really like today, I think Pete's on the other side of this. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if he said the first half though or not. I like the full game under on Charlotte and Detroit a lot.
Really?
I think Detroit's defense has been very, very, very good at home compared to where they're at on the road. And it kind of something I talked about in my picks of the day here. If you wanted to go check those out, it's the day after the All-Star break. Some of these guys might have picked up a basketball in a week. It could get real ugly in some of these games. Some of them it could be a little lax and all that. I think this one though is one of those that you're going to see the defense and the turnovers and kind of things just be a little bit more sloppier. And that one's kind of why I think the line's trending in that direction too a little bit. That's one of my bigger plays of the day. And I think you guys are on the right track with Sacramento here. It really depends on, I think, if Gallinari or Chandler gets traded here at the deadline. There's been some rumors of that. I don't know if it's going to happen or not, because I think Denver is still trying to compete for that 8 seed. But yeah, I think you guys are on the right track with the Warriors. I like where you're at on there. I think I'm laying off New York, Cleveland. I can't remember. There were a lot of picks in there, man. I can't remember.
No, you might be right. I mean, Detroit was an undertrender at home, and it was on the road where they were an overtrender.
We can't forget Stan Van Gundy was literally lit up of these guys. He is not pleased with this team whatsoever.
Yeah.
He lets them know every chance he can. You're going to give them 5 days for an all-star break to let them know how much you're underachieving? That defense had better step up tonight. I like that. I really think that could be a sharp call, Pete. I'm not kidding you.
All right, I'll pull it. I'll pull
Pull
both
it,
of them. I'll
baby.
pull both
Thank
of them.
you,
I'll pull
Jordan.
both of them.
You just saved a friend. Now that's what friends are for.
Yeah,
Kick
that's
into
what
that
friends are
song,
for. All right,
Dennis.
that's what friends are for.
That's what
Okay, all right,
friends
I'll pull it. I'll pull it. I'll
are.
pull it.
Hell
I'll
yeah,
pull it.
keep smiling,
All right.
Pete.
Then I got So what do you think about the Denver Sacramento over? I mean, do you think that in your sense when Sacramento loses, obviously their offense was predicated on DeMarcus Cousins, but Denver was a huge overtrender. Do you think that Sacramento will be able to give their share, or do you think they're going to come in and score 83 and there's no way the game goes over?
That's the question, is it? Because Denver's got the worst defense in the league right
Yeah.
now. But then again, you're right. Sacramento could easily just scored like 89 points in this game. Like it's really so hard to kind of judge what they'll be like, especially with Denver, not knowing if they're going to be buyers or sellers at the deadline. So I'm leaning towards full game under, just because I think that we could see something like I don't know, like maybe 110, 100, something like that. Something that's not too low scoring, but low scoring enough, obviously, with this total, because Sacramento's defense actually got better without DeMarcus Cousins on the floor in the first half of the season. That could really happen again. And I think we saw the game he got suspended for after all the technicals. They won that game and won it with defense. Like Willie Cauley-Stein is an above average defender. I'm really excited to see how he kind of plugs in for Cousins. So I'm leaning towards under on that full game. I could see where you're coming from, maybe with a first half over or something like that. Kind of hedge your bet a little bit on that. But yeah, I think we're going to see a little bit lower scoring game. I don't see Denver really just lighting up Sacramento's defense without DeMarcus Cousins.
Yeah. All right. I'll stick with those two, but that's making me nervous. I definitely like the. I think I like the Houston New Orleans over more than.
Since
More than
we're
anyone.
talking about Cousins, I got to ask Jordan, because I've been dying to. Jordan, what you've had a good feel on Cousins, and what do you think about Boogie sitting there playing next to Anthony Davis? Will they gel? Will this work, and how quickly can it be effective?
I think they can. It's going to take a little bit, I think they did play together 1 year in college. There's that photo of them together with Calipari and Drake together. So, they do have some chemistry. It's going to be interesting to see how they kind of play it, but both of them can pass. Both of them can stretch the floor, so I don't think there's going to be any spacing issues.
Great.
It's really just going to come down to, can Drew Holiday kind of make that transition from more of a scoring dominant guard to more of a facilitating guard? Because I think that's the biggest transition. It's not going to be Davis and Cousins kind of playing together. It's going to be more so if Holiday can, be that floor general and run this team. I think he can. He's a very talented player. So, it's going to take a few games. Mid-season trades always kind of affect a team's chemistry, especially when you got a guy like DeMarcus Cousins coming in. But these guys, I think, have their eyes set on getting that 8 seed in the West and giving Golden State all they can handle in the first round of the playoffs. That's going to be motivation enough for these guys to get things together. And I think Cousins for kind of to realize that, he's a head case. Yeah, he can be a problem in a locker room sometimes. But, once again, that's not going to stop them from being a good team. And I like Alvin Gentry. He gets a lot of crap down there, but I think he's still a pretty good coach. I think Dell Demps, you just absolutely just got away with murder against Vlade Divac in this trade. It's just that's been talked about enough. But yeah, I don't think it's going to hurt him that much in the long term. Short term, maybe. Long term, no.
You was mentioning that about the picture on the same floor. It was Calipari, it was Anthony Davis, it was Cousins, and then he said Drake. And that's what I got to talk to Drake about. Drake, you better focus on your Toronto Raptors, because they suck and they prove it, and they never do anything to try to get better. I had to throw that out there. I had to bend a little bit.
All right. Okay. So that's it. Is that anything else you want to tell us about your thoughts on the second half, Jordan Sharp?
Yeah, quick couple of shameless plugs. I wrote a couple of features on Sportsbook Review. You can go and check them out. One is kind of how to bet tanking NBA teams over the second half. I kind of highlighted some teams that may be some pretty good fades over the second half of the year. The Los Angeles Lakers seem to be in that mold after hiring Magic Johnson. They just traded away Lou Williams. They're definitely playing towards the future. Orlando, we already talked about them. The Nets are kind of interesting because they don't even own their picks, so there's no reason for them to tank, but they're so damn bad that you can't help but think that they're going to continue just losing ATS. I mean, they'll look at their ATS record, I think, over the last 20 games, just horrific. So, a couple of teams may not be that bad, but another one I wanted to look at, because I wanted your guys' thoughts on it, is kind of just, will some of these teams that have been covering in the first half continue covering in the second half? I did a little research, head back, I think, the last 4 or 5 years, and it looks like that some of these better teams that are higher end playoff teams that are good ATS, like the Golden State Warriors were a couple years ago when they just ran the table ATS, some of these teams might see a dip in how much they've been covering against the spread. The sports books do a little bit of readjusting. They start to see things differently. The players starts to see things differently. Some of these teams that have been bad, though, for instance, I don't know, maybe the Philadelphia 76ers, who have been absolutely outstanding ATS and even good without Joel Embiid on the floor, they might continue covering, even though people see them as kind of a tanking team. So check out a couple of those. I know there's, I think, like 5 or 6 teams that are cashing at a rate of 54% or better right now against the spread so far in the first half. Some of those, I think, are going to dip, but I think you're going to see some of the more mid-tier, the bad teams that have been covering continue to cover down the spread and continue to be undervalued because, I mean, let's be honest, just seems like the sports books and the player and the public just still don't give them that much clout, even though they've been winning some money for people right now.
Yeah, you do see that a lot in even in college basketball. You're seeing that now with maybe Gonzaga. All right,
Very
Jordan
well
Sharp,
said.
thanks so much for your thoughts, and Mike Brenner will be back on
I got
Friday.
one more pick.
Oh, you have one more pick?
Get
Oh,
back.
really?
Yeah,
Okay.
and
Oh, okay.
Jordan's here.
I didn't
doing
know
a
that. Okay.
Two-team,
Oh, okay.
4.5-point
Okay.
teaser from Bet Online. I want to go with the Cavs
Okay, that'll put you at -6.
and Golden State Warriors.
Okay, that'll put you at -8.
And I'm going to review mine real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
My God, I can't. It's NBA again.
Yeah.
I am excited. I'm going Portland first half -1, full game -2.5. Cavaliers full game -10. Warriors first half -7, full game -12.5. Denver -4, and that 2-team teaser, Cavs and Golden State. Man, let's get it done.
All right.
Jordan, a pleasure talking to you again, my friend.
Thanks, fellas. It's been real.
Go to SBRodds.com. Browse, compare, and shop live odds available at top online sportsbooks.